Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year 2023. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. I figured, why not start the new year off with a new Atari VCS 2600 Prober review. This one is on the Alligator People, which is based on a 1959 B horror flick, which was the second side of I believe it was The Return of the Fly, and made for that purpose. Wherein Jane Marvin discovers that her husband, who she had apparently recently married, has disappeared, and when she tracks him down and finds him and his mother, he had been taking some form of medical treatment which was slowly turning him into an alligator. A human mutant alligator hybrid. Kinda a la Kirk Connors, the lizard from the Spider-Man franchise, Spider-Man universe. In Marvel Comics and stuff. If you're not familiar with it, look it up. Basically, Connors is an amputee and tries to use a serum derived from, or a treatment derived from, something he's derived from lizards and all, because of their ability to regrow lost limbs to regrow his, but it turns him into a lizard-like monster that doesn't even know who he is. Actually, you find out later on he perfectly was well aware of what all was going on as the lizard and had full control and just was enjoying himself. It's all convoluted and messed up. Anyway, Jane Marvin, she tries to get the guy who did the treatment originally to cure her husband, but in the end that doesn't really work out so well, and she loses him, and we find out at the end she's been recalling all this through regressive memory therapy session, and the doctors decide it's better to let her just leave those memories regressed and repressed, and also it's not really a happy ending. Anyway, 20th Century Fox was making this in 1983 based on their film property, and the developer was a man named John Russell. Now, he claims why it was never really released as more back then is because it was being playtested, and the children playtesting it didn't find it to be fast enough, challenging enough, or difficult enough. Playing this game, I say bull. What kids did you have testing this? Then, of course, there's a 1983 industry and market crash for video games in North America. Could have played a factor, but who knows? Anyway, it was rediscovered in 2002, and I don't know how long after that, but it was published as a reproduction cartridge by Atari H, through the Atari H store, which is how I got it. Anyway, there's a few things to know about it. For one thing, game variations 1, 4, and 7 have no walls, which usually they're there and they will crush you, and that's another hazard besides regular alligators roaming around, which will kill you, of course. Then there's 2, 5, and 8, where you're invincible to the walls. You play as protagonist Jane Marvin, by the way, from the film. Which the film wasn't as well regarded as it could have been, but the game, since it's been re-released and all, as a prototype game and all, is pretty well regarded. I mean, it was pretty much complete. It's good. Finally, 3 and 6 are the variations with the full game. Alligators coming after you, walls that will crush you, everything. And a set number of lives, which I forget if it's supposed to be 3 or 5, but I've counted where it's probably one of those, or somewhere in there. Also, shooting regular alligators does not drain your antidote supply, which you have to go around collecting antidotes, which is marked, I forget if it's marked with an A or what, we'll see in a minute. And then there's you have regular syringes you can use to shoot gators, regular gators, defensively, which will kill them, which, unless it's loaded with some type of very high potent poison or tranquilizer and you hit them direct in the mouth, alligators have a tough hide. Regular hypodermic syringe, wouldn't do crud. Anyway, it doesn't drain your supply to shoot them. Then, interestingly enough, Mr. Russell explained that Fox didn't like this idea, but he'd made it so if you put the left difficulty switch in the B position, you'll get infinite lives. He said he did this so that new players wouldn't just give up on the game, because he knew it was challenging. fast-paced, fairly fast-paced, and difficult. And, well, if you can keep playing without hitting a game over, yeah, you're going to keep doing it until you get the hang of it if you like it. Whereas, yeah, some might get frustrated enough if they can't do it in a certain number of lives and keep getting game overs, yeah, they're going to quit. So it was an innovative idea for the time, and I think one of the first times in home video game console games that's actually been tried. Though I may be wrong. Anyway, that's mostly what there is to that. You go around trying to cure your husband and his friends. There are about 6 of them, 3 on top, 3 on bottom, who are slowly turning phase by phase into full-blown human mutant gators. And you have to keep administering more doses of antidote serum to them and getting the extra syringes to do so, while not avoiding being crushed by the walls or eaten by another regular gator. So, anyway, I've talked long enough about it, so let's go ahead and I'm going to get set up with my Hyperkin Retron 77 emulation hardware clone console, which, for those who have one and may be using one, yes, this does work with. And we'll take a look at the gameplay. Though, first, let's go ahead and take a look at the cartridge, which is what comes when you order from Atari Age. Pretty nice front label art. It says for the Atari 2600, and it says one player with a joystick controller. Has kind of a nice top label here, and the artwork is pretty appropriate. Anyway, I'm all set up with the Retron 77, and we're going to take a look into the gameplay real quick. Okay, so here we go with Alligator People. Just take a second, it will be up. Going to go to Game Variation 3 since it's one of the full game variations. And a bit trying as it is. There we go, those are the serum vials. They're marked with S. I thought it was A. They're antidote serums, so. The ones up top, they still look human enough that they have not progressed to the seriously bad part of the condition, so they only take one dose, one shot to cure. He don't want to do me that way. It's hard not to lose a life to the walls, at least in the first level, though. So you got the 3 up top cured. You get to the 3 down below, which is not going to be as easy, because as we can see, they've already progressed some towards being gatorized. Whoever the heck in that film came up with this type of treatment would probably make old Kurt Connors from Spider-Man proud. Well, then again, he'd probably be horrified too. He didn't like what he'd done to himself. Well, then again, like I explained, he actually did and knew what was going on, so wasn't as clear-cut as you might have wanted old Parker to believe. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Then again, I'm talking to an audience of a bunch of gamers. You guys are probably comic book fans too, so I probably don't need to explain all that to everyone. I managed to get 2, but I don't think past level 3 of gameplay here before, so. It is tough. Again, 20th Century Fox, what kids did you have playtesting this that didn't find it to be difficult, fast enough, or tough enough? Because really, it's more than enough of each. With the gators, you can either avoid them or you can shoot them. The regular gators. They don't take much shot to get rid of. That managed to kill me. Wouldn't crush my wall. Got him cured. Don't know how many lives I still have left on this one. Again, I didn't get a good count of how many it gives you. I also didn't really get a good count of how it tallies up the points, except I do know shooting regular gators seems to award you with 5 points, so. Darn it. And remember, shooting a regular gator will not cost you any of your serum that you've collected, so... don't really have to worry about that. If you look, you can tell which ones are in a more advanced state of being gatorized, so those are the ones who are probably best to go for trying to cure first, as they will be much easier to do. Because it seems to take at least one vial of, one dose of serum and one set of the treatment syringes, as it is to cure each stage, so giving them less, them not collecting enough before you go after them, you're just going to end up having to go back to collecting again, and they're going to progress back to being in worse condition again, so... and the regular gators are not terribly helpful in helping you to get it all done, so... of course, that's part of the point. They're a type of both enemy and obstacle. Make what you're trying to do a lot harder for you. You can kind of pattern out the maze and figure out where to go with it. But as you get into a hurry trying to get things done, you can get to a point where it becomes more hazard to know that than not. Still not enough to cure that one. And didn't take long to progress back to being more gatorized, so we're going to have to do better, collect more. Forget how many doses it would take for a full cure. I don't even know how many lives this thing's giving me, but I know I don't have it set to infinite lives, so that can't be it. I guess there may be a point threshold at which you earn more. There we go, one more cured. 10,001, I'm actually on level 3, which I'm a bit surprised by. I think I'd be totally dead by now, but... okay, maybe it was set to be. I don't know why it'd be set to B, though. Last time I messed with it, it was on set to A, so... shouldn't be. More serum? Do I need more syringes yet? I don't think so. Apparently, yes, I do. Go one more cured. 3 might take me a bit to get. Well, anyway. That's basically the gameplay. I think you guys kind of get the idea with it by now. Okay, so that was Alligator People. An early 2000s re-release of an Atari VCS 2600 prototype game discovered in 2002, which was originally created in '83. As far as I'm concerned, it is pretty good. It is indeed fast-paced, challenging, and difficult. And you can obviously play on it and be tempted to keep at it for a while. It's also a very interesting concept. Again, somewhat better than the film was supposed to have been, I suppose. It's currently actually still available. I looked just the other day in the Atari Age store. You can get a copy there for about a $25 base price. So it's not terribly expensive, so look into it if you'd like. In fact, I'll leave a link where you can find that, just in case you might care to. As well as I will leave a link to the AtariProtos.com, I believe it is, where I got a lot of the information for this one that on the development and everything. So I'll leave a link down in the description below for that too. And I also have some recommendations and links to go ahead and leave you guys from my preferred YouTubers. Pence's Jim 1 has one, along with Epic Game. Mr. Venom 1974, he's one, there's a new one. He and I have been following each other on Twitter for a while, but I just subscribed to his channel. The thing is, unless you got the correct captioning or can speak German, just watch the gameplay, but unless you're bilingual in German, don't bother to worry about what he's saying. And then, of course, there's a High Retro Game Lord, one of my old ones, so there's 4 for you guys. Anyway, I'll leave that along with the links to AtariProtos.com and where you can find it in the Atari Age store in the description down below. In the meantime, I will have coming up this coming Wednesday my Intellivision Original Library review, so keep your eyes peeled for the post on that. I pretty well decide what it's going to be, but you guys know how I tend to do. It will be, you'll find out by seeing the announcement post. I don't like to do any spoilers. So keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, have a very wonderful Sunday. And let's get started off to a wonderful, great new year. Hopefully this little game review kind of was a good way to kick it off. Anyway, so you guys take care, have a good one, and I will see you again hopefully on Wednesday.